CoolKay and County Fairgrounds here. Do I have the infamous Ted Shred on the line?
It is, Ken. I'm here.
Okay, so you started out from Phoenix, Arizona, and I don't like Phoenix as much as I like Tucson, which is where I came from. But yeah,
I used to live in Tucson also.
Yeah, there's too much traffic in Phoenix, my darling.
It's too much traffic anywhere there now. Even if you go to Sedona or Kingman, there's traffic now. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So how did you start out? You started out as a musician. Have you ever thought about, I guess you were always kind of leaning towards being an entertainer?
My whole life, yeah. My father was quite the entertainer, and when my sister and I came along, he decided to get more of a legit job, so he kind of quit the entertainment industry, and he was an actor and a stuntman, animal trainer, and performer, and he started Arizona Restaurant Equipment Company. But growing up, you hear all these stories, you meet all his friends, and when you have celebrities coming by, like Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, and Steve McQueen and Clint Eastwood visiting him, or they know your dad, you're just kind of sucked up in all that fame and fortune, and you start to dream about it. And then you start to realize it's not so much about the fortune as it's the fame. To become famous and people know you as an entertainer and you deliver smiles and make people feel good, that's a good thing. The money part will come, but it wasn't necessary so much for me. It was more about just being out there and be able to perform and make people happy.
Yeah, I'm sort of that way too. That's why I do what I do. Okay, all right. So you ended up in Hollywood. So how did you get from Phoenix to Hollywood?
Well, I knew I'd end up in Hollywood because of music and stuff. I was playing drums. I was in rock bands and stuff. So I came back and forth to Hollywood off and on. So I finally just have to move here. And a job opportunity came up. The drummer from Weird Al Yankovic is a good friend of mine, John Bermuda Schwartz. And John happened to walk in. I had a drum shop in Phoenix called Headbangers. And John came in one day and said, man, if you ever want to work for me and you want to move out to L.A., let me know. I'd hire you in a heartbeat where I work at. I go, where do you work at? And he goes, well, when I'm not touring with Al, I'm at Westwood One Radio Network. So we own radio stations across the country. We produce radio shows like Casey Kasem's American Top 40, The Dr. Demento Show, Off the Record of Mary Turner, High Voltage, bunch of shows. They had about like 35 shows when I went over there. And I said, that sounds really interesting. I'll let you know. And so finally that day hit, and I said, I need to be in L.A. So I called him up, got the job. He helped me find an apartment. I brought a roommate who was a bass player from Phoenix with me, who was an airbrush artist, and he got a job with BC Rich Guitars. And his name was Chris Compston. He was he's the airbrush artist in Hollywood. He does all this custom work for everybody. And we moved out there together, and we both were pursuing music while we had our day jobs. But our day jobs were very music-oriented. He was painting guitars for all the rock stars and bands, and I was interviewing and producing shows for radio content with all these artists and stuff, too. So we got to know everybody in town. We were on everybody's guest list for parties and events. And I was just talking earlier today. I told a guy, the first 3 years we were out here, I don't think there was a night that we stayed home and got a good night's rest. We were working all day long. Then we rushed off to dinner and then went to parties every night. And it built up a huge network of contacts that we made with artists and performers. And we were on everybody's guest list. And it was just a lot of fun. And it was a whole different Hollywood than it is now. Now it's crumbling. It's falling apart. It's not. I guess we were on the tail end of the best parts of Hollywood. We came out here the last part of the 80s and 90s, and it just was so much fun. And I then went from music into acting. I did a commercial, and then I was next thing on my stand-in for Steven Tyler on Wayne's World 2, and just all kinds of stuff. The money started coming in. I go, this is actually easy money. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good people, and then you get to see all what it takes to make a movie, a TV show, all the different departments. And so I wanted to try everything. But the one problem is I don't like going to school. I'd rather learn on the job. So I made up fake resumes and just started submitting myself for jobs, and people were hiring me. I just learned how to take a notepad with me and make notes and stuff, and I made it through all these jobs. I think I've done everything in film and TV except for actual hair and makeup. I've done special effects makeup and hair, but I haven't done regular practical hair and makeup. I haven't done catering, and I haven't done craft service. But everything else from lighting to grip to dolly grip to camera assist, sound. I've done everything, and I've got credits. I mean, I've got some movies I worked on. I've got 5-6 credits in that, and then they said you got to have the world's record for the most credits in one film. Everyone was laughing about it, and I started getting a lot of work because everyone started realizing this guy knows a lot of stuff. He's very
Hey, you know, Ted, I was out there about the same time too, and I looked around at that Hollywood scene and everything. It was a little bit more than I could handle, so I went back to Phoenix and back to Tucson and took off from there. But
there you go.
Yeah, it was a little bit much for me. Too much traffic and too many different directions.
Traffic is it. You have to get used to that and stuff. And once you're here for like and you got to understand too, when all this is going on, we didn't have cell phones yet. We had to rely still on pay phones, carrying quarters around if you had an emergency or something, and you didn't have navigations. You had a Thomas guide, which a lot of people don't even know what that is anymore. And it's like a thick book of maps of every city around you. And you'd have to look up the addresses to figure your routes out. So back in that day, I had a big map on my, from the state of California on my wall in my living room. And I could look there and see where every highway was going all across California, every freeway. I could memorize that. And every day I'd tell my roommate, Chris, the same thing. Just memorize all the highways and freeways, and you can get anywhere.
I remember. I remember those highways. That was one of the things that scared the hell out of me. Those highways and all that traffic. It was horrifying.
Yeah. So, but it was it was pretty. We got used to it pretty quick, and I was talking earlier today to a singer out of Phoenix today, my buddy Tony Noyes. If you guys are ever in Phoenix, you want to catch a good band, anything that this guy's playing in, his name is Tony, his last name is Noyes, that's his real name. He's got a band with his son called Noise Factory, but Tony, he plays in a lot of different bands. We were talking today. He was just out here, and he's also involved in the film industry too. And Tony and I were talking, and I told him, I go, it was really interesting times back then. I could pull up at any street corner in L.A., and there would be a production going on, whether it was a shoot for a TV show or a movie, and you could do what they called specking. You'd go on and speculate you're going to get a job, and they would go ahead and hire you. Go, hey, can I spec? They go, yeah, give me your name. And I go, if someone doesn't show up for an extra, something will put you on. So as I'm sitting there talking, I would make friends with people as they're walking by and start talking and stuff like that. They go, oh, you know your stuff. You've been around, right? Yeah. They go, hey, put this guy, give him a couple lines, put him on a SAG contract. Boom, you got a SAG contract for just talking to the right person and saying the right things. And I built up my resume with acting roles and speaking parts and stuff. And it was interesting because you're to be in the union, you can't have more than what they call 3 union vouchers. Anything more than that, you have to join. You're what they call a must join. And I just needed money. I just need to pay my rent. I need to feed my animals. I need to feed myself, pay my car insurance. So I would ignore the whole 3 union voucher law and just kept working. And I just kept booking myself. So finally, when it came down to it, I was doing stunts on a film with Steven Seagal called Under Siege 2, The Dark Territory. And they said, Ted, this scene we just shot, we got to break to lunch. I got to ask you. I know we brought you in to do stunts, but we didn't check. Are you a must join? Are you an affiliate? I'm going, well, I haven't joined the union yet. They go, are you a must join? I said, I don't know what that is. And I did. I just played stupid about it. And so they said, well, we better check it out because we just shot this. Now we're going to lunch. So we went to lunch, came back out. Next door to us, Mel Gibson was filming pickups for Braveheart. And I knew Mel through the band Cheap Trick. We played golf in Phoenix with Mel Gibson before. So Mel was out there. I was talking to him, and he's telling me what they're doing next door at the studio. This is all over at Warner Brothers. And then Steven Seagal came out, somebody talking to Mel, so he came out talking. So I'm sitting here talking to Steven Seagal, Mel Gibson. I go, it's a typical Hollywood story. This is cool. And I hear a lawyer come yelling, God damn it, Ted Shred. And I go, oops. Everyone's looking, and Mel goes, well, this is your one. I'm gone. He walked away. Steven Seagal goes, what's going on? They go, Ted's a must join. He's got, I think I had 9 vouchers, and you're only supposed to have 3. So that meant that they had to pay, I'd have to join the union. I'd have to pay all these penalties and fees on it because it went against the union what I did. And I didn't have any money. I mean, I was living day to day as a struggling actor and musician in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So Steven Seagal says, are you going to join the union? I said, I can't afford to, Steven. And he goes, well, you're making X amount of dollars on here. And I said, oh, I know, it's a lot, but I got overhead too. I got to feed my animals. And he goes, what do you have? And I started telling somebody, I goes, geez. He goes, you got a zoo. I go, almost. So he's like, okay, we're at Warner Brothers. Why don't you guys get on the phone? You're the lawyers. Negotiate with his the union SAG, get him in, pay for it through our production. So they did. Steven Seagal got me my SAG card. So anyone says anything bad about Steven Seagal, I always tell them, I don't know what kind of situation you had with him. I had a great time working with Steven. He was very polite, very nice to me. He got me my SAG card. Didn't cost me a dime. They paid for it all. And back then it was like $800 to join.
Okay, let's take a little bit of a side trip here. Somewhere along the line, as you were doing all of this, you became a fire eater.
Well, that even goes before that. I was 14 years old, and I was at a KISS concert, and at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, and KISS was playing there, and it was for the tour. I think it was they were recording Alive 2, the album Alive 2, and they were playing there with Cheap Trick open for them. And my cousins were ushers there, and they got me in the front row and got me there. And I saw Gene Simmons blow fire, and I go, that smells like charcoal lighter or kerosene in the air. So I went home and grabbed some charcoal lighter, and I grew up on a ranch out in Goodyear, Arizona. So I went out to the barn, found some baling wire, made a little torch, wrapped a rag around it, put a little lighter fluid on it, took a mouthful, and when I saw Gene blow it, looked like he was trying to play a trumpet. So I said, I got to make it like a mist, I guess. So I spit it like a mist. It caught on fire. It blows up in front of your face. You feel the heat. So I'm like, wow, this is cool. So, okay, instead of being afraid of it and not ever doing it again, I wanted to perfect it. So I kept doing it. So by the time I got through high school, everyone knew I did fire eating and fire breathing. So when I came to Hollywood, I never thought about doing this as a career. I just did it for something fun to do as a kid because I saw Gene Simmons do it. Well, a girl I was dating, her name is Veena Badasha, a very famous actress and belly dancer here in Hollywood and L.A. Veena and I were dating, and she went to an audition, her and her twin sister, as belly dancers for HBO. And she calls me. She goes, hey, you do fire breathing, fire eating. I go, yeah, I haven't done it in a few years. Why? She goes, they need a fire breather on this commercial. And I told them about you. They want you to come and audition. I go, crap, I have nothing. She goes, put it together and get over here. So I put some torches together and got some fuel. I went and crashed the audition. I wasn't scheduled to be there, but since Veena and Nina were, they knew the casting director. So, yeah, bring Ted in. So they brought me in, and they go, we love the name Ted Shred. And I go, oh, yeah, thank you. And they said, okay, show us what you got. So I did some fire breathing, and everyone went crazy. They go, oh, my God, that was huge. It almost hit the ceiling. I go, well, I could have hit the ceiling, but I stopped it. You can control that? I said, yeah, I can control it. I can do approach. Let's go outside. I'll show you some more. So I showed them some of the tricks I do with fire, the fire eating, fire retention. They go, oh, my God, we've never seen this before. Your book. So I booked a commercial for HBO, and the next thing I know, I'm getting calls for every fire breather part in TV, film, music videos.
Hey, Ted.
For magazines, yeah.
Ted, I have a question for you. You
Sure.
go nonstop all the time, and you're still going nonstop.
Constantly. I live on naps and coffee.
Okay. Are you a married man?
I am not married. I didn't have kids either.
Oh. Do you kind of regret that?
Yeah, I do. I do regret it. I always wanted to have the wife and the 2 kids, the dog, the house, the white picket fence. I wanted it. I think every guy at one point in his life wanted that. But through, time and things that happen, people change. And with me, by the time I looked back at it, I said, you know what? I think I waited too long. I was too busy working. I better hurry. And so I got engaged once. She had a miscarriage, and that kind of ended it all. And next thing you know, I'm 62 now, and it's like, yeah, it's too old to want to have a raise a kid.
Well,
I mean, I guess I could still do it. I mean, if Mick Jagger and Keith Richards still have kids,
Yep.
But I don't have their money or wealth though.
Yeah, I have interviewed a lot of entertainers and a lot of famous entertainers throughout the years, and I always ask that question, and I love the stories that I get. I get some really interesting stories. A lot of the wives, become part of the team, or and I've interviewed women who have had the career and had told their men, either you change and work with me or goodbye.
Well, I've had both. I prefer a professional woman that's got her life together, can take care of herself. To me, I mean, some guys say, I like a tight ass. I'm a girl, I like big boobs. I'm a leg guy and stuff. I'm a guy that's an independent professional woman. That's my turn on. I go, I don't care what size, what shape, what color, whatever. if you have got it together and you're a professional woman and I don't ever have to worry about you in any way if anything ever happens to me, because that's the thing, I've got a conscience. And if something happened to me and I died, I would like to know that my spouse or a significant other is going to be able to take care of herself and be able to handle it without me being around. And living with that is a peace of mind, and it's great to know. So to me, that's the biggest turn on. And I've worked with girls, or I've been with girls that have worked with me as a performer. I've created acts with them. I with several belly dancers throughout my career. They did belly dancing with swords, snakes, and I came out and did fire with them. I've done pirate stuff where I've hired. I've had a girlfriend, and then we needed a girl for something. So I'll be one of your pirates, and I teach them sword fighting. Pretty soon they're one of my pirates in the group. I've had that happen. Animal trainers. I needed an extra hand to come help me with animals on set because I train a lot of exotic animals for film. And it just happens to be your girlfriend goes, oh, I'd love to go help you with this. Oh, I'd love that. So I bring them, and it's done that. But it's just never. I mean, I've had long relationships. I think the longest I was with one person was 13 years. The shortest I've ever been with somebody in a relationship has been probably a year. And but I take relationships very serious. I always have. I don't cheat on anybody because to me cheating is one of the worst things you could do to anyone. I was in my younger years. I had two girls cheat on me 2 different times, and it hurt. It hurt really bad. I was young and vulnerable at that point, stuff like that. And as you get older, you could deal with it a little better, but it still hurts. And I would never want to put people through that. So
let's change directions here. You got to be a pirate, and the pirate thing was, I remember when I started doing interviews years ago, everybody was kind of looking for pirates, and there weren't that many around, and the ones that were around were getting booked a lot. So how did you get into the pirate stuff?
Well, there was no one doing it when I was doing it. I called and looked around, and I could find a couple magicians that had a Halloween costume, or a couple that did face painting and twisted balloon swords. And that was it. I go, no, I want a pirate show. And all I can remember as a kid, there was a place in Phoenix, Arizona called Legend City. And that's where I first saw my first cowboy stunt show that I remembered. And I remember guys shooting and falling, doing stuff. Then down Old Tucson, they do it in Old Tucson, down by Tombstone do it. So I saw all the cowboys doing that. And I've done that for parties and events. I go, why isn't anyone doing it with swords and swashbuckling with pirates swinging and having a set that looked like a ship's, like a ship or a little village in Tortuga or something? And nobody was doing this. And I love pirate movies. My dad was a cowboy, and he was a cowboy western actor and stuntman. So I grew up around all that. That to me was normal. But the pirates were a little more, it's like the cowboys, but exotic. These guys were on the high seas, and fighting with swords to me was a little more crazy than shooting a 6-shooter or stuff like that, or cracking a whip. So I thought, this is cool. And I knew all the cowboy stuff already. I said, I can adapt the cowboy ability and my stunt training that I had in film to a pirate show. I'll create it. I just need to make costumes. So I started hand sewing my own costumes, got some of my stunt guys and girls together. People I worked with, I go, hey, let's do pirates. And they say, oh, this is a good idea. So I started getting clips of famous pirate movies with Basil Rathbone in it, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., Douglas Fairbanks, Errol Flynn, all the greats. And I looked at them, and a lot of them didn't even have a proper sword fight. They're using fencing foils or rapiers. And granted, pirates did use rapiers. Captain Hook had a rapier, Peter Pan. A lot of the pirates used what was called a cutlass. It was a short military sword. It wouldn't get caught in the rat lines or ropes on a ship if you had to pull it out. So they're shorter than a regular sword and a little lighter, easier to maneuver. So I said, I got to get cutlasses. I want to look like those pirates, like that, not the fencing foils or little rapiers. I want cutlasses. So I found a guy named Tony Swatton and another guy named Spike, and they both made swords. So I had both of them making swords to see who made the best ones. And they're both good. I can't complain about them. But I've got some of the very first swords I started with. These guys put together some great quality swords. And remember, at one point in 2013, 14, 15, and 16 was the heyday of all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Were like crazy, going like crazy and stuff. Everybody was into it. I was working sometimes every day of the week doing a pirate show, from a convention to a marketing thing, film or TV.
Yeah, so, let me ask you this question. Are you still doing the pirate thing, and are you bookable as a pirate show?
Absolutely. I just did one this last weekend. We were at the Connecticon, which Collectors Con. Sorry, Collectors Con.
Right.
It was for people that are collectors of Pokemon cards,
Right.
sports trading cards, all that stuff.
Right.
And a company hired us called Pirates Payoffs. And they hired me and a Captain Jack Sparrow lookalike, my friend Todd Tucker, who's a great makeup artist. He won the Academy Award for Benjamin Button doing the makeup on Brad Pitt. But Todd does my Jack Sparrow. He came out, he and I did it. And we did photographs of people, did some impromptu sword fights out of the lobby and stuff, and got a lot of contacts for my client. He said it was the best money he's ever spent on marketing. But, yeah, we work all the time. Every weekend I probably have a pirate gig going on. I've got up to 15 pirates that work for me. At the biggest point, I had 25 pirates where I had 2 complete teams going across the United States and Canada doing state and county fairs and street festivals and boating shows, car shows, all kinds of stuff. And then I would keep a handful of pirates in California just for all the local stuff between California, Arizona, and Nevada. I could send my pirates from here when the other teams are out. And it was funny because how we Ringling Brothers of Barbagallo Circus do the red team and the blue team. They had 2 different circuses that would go out. They'd also describe was it the red team or the blue team. Well, we called ours the red and blue also. But our red was, we had a Captain Hook that had a red costume. Then we had a Captain Hook that had a blue costume. So it's like, what team did you get? Did you get the blue Captain Hook or the red Captain Hook? And then I knew who was out on that tour.
Hey.
And
do you do your booking by yourself?
I do all my own bookings. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't use an agency or anything. I do have for acting and stuff. I have an agent, but for the live performance stuff, I got a company called Double Dog Dare Events. I design parties and events. We do everything from marketing to an anniversary party, depending on what you want to spend and what you want. People hire me to design and come up with entertainment, decor, even down to menus. I put the catering and menus together with my crew and stuff like that. But I'm used to putting all this together. And like you said, I've got a lot of energy, and I go on naps. I've got severe ADHD, so I can walk away from one subject and go to another and pick up where I left off, come back. So I can run a crew real easy. You ask me to do something by myself, I'll never get it done.
Okay. All right. So do you work primarily just in California? I mean, do you work across?
Oh, no. I'm all over the world. We got an office in Vancouver. We've got offices in Chicago, Texas, Louisiana, and that's through my partner, Eric. Eric owns LA Party Works, and then I've got Double Dog Dare Events. So wherever Eric's at, I've got connections and contacts and places there to go, and it's vice versa with me. And I've taken the pirates all the way to China, the Philippines. We've been all over the world. Hawaii, Alaska. We love Alaska. Susan Crosby out in Alaska. We want to come back. We love Alaska. We've been there for many, many times for their fair in Palmer. And then we did the one year for the one in Fairbanks. But the Palmer Fair is a blast. The one in Fairbanks is a blast, too. It just doesn't get as crowded.
So tell me what you do now that you like the best.
Directing. I just directed a feature film called Natural Born Fighter, and we shot it right before Christmas in Sacramento, California. I had some great actors on there. I had David Carlson, who is he's a real famous fighter known as the Viking Samurai Fighter. He's out of Oklahoma. They flew him in. I had Michael Kisei, which you'll know from all the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. He's Jean-Claude Van Damme's best friend. Michael was one of my actors in there. I had Don the Dragon Wilson, and Don and I go way back. We used to do a lot of martial art films together back in the days for PM Entertainment, and Don was one of my actors on it. And then we got this new actor. Oh, my God. This guy is amazing. I can't say enough about this guy. His name is Bryce Akusin. Bryce is going to put The Rock and Vin Diesel out of business. He has got the looks. He's bigger. The guy looks like a comic book superhero. He makes the Incredible Hulk look like Billy Barty. You know, it's like he is just – and the guy is flexible. He's a great martial artist. He's out of Marseille, France, and we flew him in from France, him and his family. And he and I have a tight friendship now, and we're working together on a couple other films coming up. But Bryce is in it.
You know,
the writer.
You know, Ted, AI is, and I'm aware of this very much, AI is sort of like taking a lot of stuff over. So when you say you were directing, you're making a film that goes into theaters?
Yeah, we just did. We're done with it. We're right now editing it right now. We shot it in December in Sacramento. I had a great camera crew in there and stuff. The first camera crew we had to fire, get rid of. I didn't like them at all. So we brought my guys in, And Tim Guerrero, he works with me on a lot of music videos. I used to direct a lot of music videos throughout the 90s and 2000. I directed commercial stuff. Tim is my cameraman, my cinematographer. Him and his boys, his kids, all came in as my producers and stuff. And we met this guy, Joe. Joe is a contact through them, through the fighting community. We're all connected to the King of the Cage tournaments and stuff. And Joe is the one that wrote the script, and he's the lead in this, and he financed this all and paid us all to come there and shoot it. And we're right now in the final stages of editing, and we got to shoot some pickup shots in France. So we're going to be flying out to France to see Bryce, and we're going to shoot some pickup shots there and come back, and then it's just doing all this, the music and soundtrack to it. And I'm talking right now to a friend of mine, Greg D'Angelo. He's a great drummer. He used to be in the band White Lion, if anyone remembers the 80s and 90s band White Lion.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So Greg does incidental music now for film, TV, music videos, video games, all kinds of stuff. He writes and creates music. And I want him to do all the incidental music for our film. And then we've got a few title songs. And I can't talk about any of what songs we're going to have on the soundtrack yet because the lawyers are doing all the legal stuff right now to get the rights to it. And we're going to have some Christmas songs there because this was shot right around Christmas. So this film has got a lot of Christmas tied in with it. And Joe, the gentleman that wrote it, he's big about faith, about God and stuff, and I am too. I believe in God and faith and stuff. So we put a little bit of that in the movie too because a lot of people like to see that and represent, that in the film. And for being a fighter, that's one thing. A lot of people talk about being an athlete or fighter. A lot of them have, faith in their heart, believe in God, and we are showing that in this film and helps them get through this fight. It's kind of like a Rocky film, but it deals with mixed martial arts.
Okay. All right. So, you don't really have a website very much, do you?
Yeah, I do. I've got DoubleDogDairy events.com. Then I've got piratesforhire.com. I've got, what else? I think Shred Media Group isn't up yet. They're still working on it. But Shred Media Group, it was up and it's down now because they're adding all the movie stuff I did in it. Because before it was just commercials and music videos. But now we're adding the film work in it and stuff. And I've got 3 more films that are laid out for me for this. We're going to be shooting throughout the summer. I can't really talk about them yet. One of them I'm meeting tonight with the writer, and he and I are going to co-direct it. He's a real famous stunt coordinator. God, I can't even talk. His name is Ron Altoff. And Ron has been in movies like Three Amigos, Police Academy. He's done everything. Ron pops up if you Google him. And he's a great director and writer, and he's got a script he brought to me and wants to co-direct it with him. And we're working on it right now. And one of the guys we're talking to who's committed to it is Michael Pare. I don't know if you guys remember Michael Pare. One of my favorite actors, very underrated actor. He did the movie Eddie and the Cruisers. He did Streets of Fire. He was in the Philadelphia Experiment. We worked with him on a project. He read the script and stuff like that, and he says, I want to be a part of this. So we got Michael Pare committed to it, and we got a couple other people we're talking to right now that are pretty good names that are going to be on this.
So, is your father still around?
No, my father passed. He passed. This is really horrible. I was in Hawaii creating a pirate stunt show on one of the dinner cruises over there, and my dad went in for a hernia operation. And I won't name the hospital due to legalities or anything, but he went in, and nobody looked at his records that he's highly allergic to Vicodin. And he was complaining right after having his surgery. My dad was still a showman. They told him, walk with a walker. He goes, I don't want to use a walker. I'm a cowboy, And they go, you need it. You just had surgery there. We can't have you stand straight up. Well, my dad, being the cowboy, the guy he is, he always has a rope around. So he picks the rope up and starts trick roping and showing people at the hospital while he's recovering some basic rope tricks and telling stories about how Tom Mix taught him how to spin a rope, and Tom Mix actually did teach my dad how to spin a rope when he was like 5, and he knew all the legendary cowboys. He worked for Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and all these people, but he was trick roping, and I guess he pulled where they did the surgery on him, and it was a little painful. He says, I'm feeling a little pain there. They said, we're telling you, don't stand straight up. Stay hunched down more until it recovers. You just had surgery, a couple days ago. So the nurse called the doctor, who was out on the golf course, of course. And they said, what should we do for Mr. Paulson? He's got a little bit of pain. They said, give him 2 500 milligrams of Vicodin. Nobody looked at his chart, and they gave it to him. He went into a coma, basically, and died.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the medic in me understands what you're saying. Believe me.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
all right.
getting back to the Pirates, the Pirates. Then I'll tell you real quick what happened with us is when I did the Pirates for a bar mitzvah. And after I did that bar mitzvah, it was a big hit. People said, "Oh my God, we had the coolest stunt show. Our sword fights, people couldn't believe how fast they were." They go, "Have you ever gone to medieval times, or you ever been that place?" I go, "Yeah, I've seen that." They go, "Those sword fights are what we're used to, and you are doing like cinematic, like great. It looks real." I go, "Well, it is. We're really sword fighting, but it's choreographed." And they go, "Oh well, the stuff you do over there, it's choreographed too, but it's real slow and more." I go, "Yeah, because those are amateurs. We're pros. We're all stunt people, and we do this on stage and in film." And so we put this great pirate show together. And all my pirate shows are based on the old Batman and Robin series. When I was a kid, I watched Batman and Robin. There was plenty of jokes for the kids, stuff to cheer for and be excited about. And then there were jokes that only the adults got that were like a little tongue-in-cheek, make parents go, "Wow, that's kind of funny." And they're laughing. And the parents and the kids would watch Batman and Robin together, and it made it a big hit TV show. So knowing Burt Ward and Adam West, I got to know them personally and stuff. I wrote all my scripts kind of along the lines of what Batman and Robin were on. So all my fights and stuff in my shows, they all are broken up with comedy and humor. Nobody dies. All the sword fights, we do at least 5 to 7 sword fights per show. And every show we do, especially at the fairs, we do state and county fairs, we do 3 shows a day. And every show is different, but one show leads into the next show, which leads to the next. So you got to come and watch all the shows to get the whole story, and it's a lot of fun.
Hey, Ted.
Ted,
what state and county fairs have you done with this?
I've done Alaska, like I mentioned earlier. We've done Colorado. We've done no, we haven't done Arizona yet. I've been trying to get in Arizona. We're not there yet. They I don't know why we haven't got there. We've done a lot of fairs here in California. The first one we did, I'll tell you how it all started, was the Pomona Fairgrounds. It's our LA County Fair. We got a call, and they were doing construction. And they said, "We got this area, we want to kind of hide it and stuff." They came to my partner, Eric. Eric goes, "Hey, let's create a pirate area." They go, "What?" He goes, "We got plenty of props. We can decor. We can put fun, interactive stuff there." So we built a whole interactive pirate village. And we brought Michael Angelo Knox, the Knox family that do all kinds of aerial stunts and all kinds of stuff. We had him in there with his wheel of death, a big round wheel that he runs around on the outside and jumps around. His wife and him were doing aerial sway poles and stuff, and they did it all with a pirate theme. Then out front, we had the stage with Pirates for Hire on it, drawing people in, doing our pirate shows, the sword fighting and comedy. And then we had all the games, and we own all the games and rides. We had those big inflatable balls that you go in and walk on water. We had climbing palm trees. We had a zip line in there. We built all this stuff where it's all interactive, all based on pirates and Hollywood stunt work. And
so are you going to slow down anytime soon?
Well, I actually am right now. I'm thinking about retirement, which means that I will just stop. Means I'll probably stop doing so many parties and focus more on directing. I like the directing. Directing's a little slower because we work on scripts and writing. And you get to go on great locations and work with good people, and it's a nice job. I like directing. It's very creative, and I've won as an art director. I've won several awards for my art and stuff like that in Los Angeles with stage plays and TV shows. And with that, I could design and direct my own art and stuff for the sets, and it's more fun. I'd rather keep doing my own films and my own movies and things I pick to choose and do. And the Pirates will always be of my heart. I think I'll always keep booking the Pirates and doing that because
I always liked the Pirates too. The Pirates were always a lot of fun. I agree with that.
And we do a lot of libraries also. We do a lot of school appearances. And one of the things, I'm going to say this real quick, and I hope it spreads to more people. People will say, "Ted Shred," and you're the only person I've told this to. They go, "What is your secret to get so many state and county fairs?" Because we've been all over the United States. And we've been to Maine, we've been to Florida, we've been to Texas, everywhere. And they always ask me, "What is your secret to get all these jobs?" And I go, "It's not that hard. I have one rate that we pay my pirates and stuff, and they know. And I tell them, if you can't afford us, then talk to me, and I will help get sponsorship for it." And when I go to my sponsors, then I ask them, "Who have you talked to and who haven't you talked to yet?" And they give me a list, and I call them, and I said, "Look, we're pirates. We can put your name and brand on the stage, but what I'm going to do for you and for the fair is when we come to town there, if you have a children's hospital, if you have a senior home, if you have an animal rescue, if you have a military base, if you have all of them, I'll do them all. But we like to at least visit one of them and do a free show there for them and do that as a give back to the community from the fair and the sponsor who sponsors us. This is our give back for supporting the fair and being there for us and supporting my sponsor and having his business in your community. This is the community give back. We do a free show. And if we have to do 2 or 3, we don't mind doing it. My guys all love to entertain, especially these people that can't maybe leave the senior home or the hospital and come see us live. We want to bring them to the fair and fun for them. And animal rescues, if we can raise money that way, it looks good.
So from where I'm coming from, I'm countyfairgrounds.net, have been since 1998. So do you want to tell our audience where what states you'd like to be booked in now?
My hometown of Arizona. I mean, I don't know why we haven't got the Arizona State Fair. We've talked to them several times, and they haven't booked us yet. I've been doing this since we started Pirates for Hire in 2000. What was 2001? No, it was 1998. 1998, we started Pirates for Hire because I started my business in 92, and then I got the call in 98 for the first pirate show. Or actually, it was 95. We got the first pirate show, but it became a full business in 98. And then Pirates of the Caribbean came out, I think, in 2001 or 2, and it exploded for us. And I will mention there is a guy out there that tells everybody that, I was Pirates for Hire first, and Jack Spareribs, who we talked about, who basically stole my name. And he's been riding on the coattails of that ever since, and he lies about it. So I just want to put that
He's
out
a pirate. Hey, he's a pirate.
But the pirates still had code. There was a pirate's code. And you got to stick to the code, mate, and he didn't. And so he lifted my name and calls himself Pirates, and then the number 4, and then Hires with an S on it, and we're Pirate for Hire, FORHIRE, Pirate for Hire. And we started, like I said, it became a full business in 98. I actually started sooner than that. I've got it documented, licensed, everything. He doesn't. We started doing the fairs before he did it, and we were at WFA and IAFE before he showed up. And he just came along. We told him, asked him, can you please change your name? It's too close. He said, no. He goes, people might think it's you and hire us because we had a great reputation. Yeah. And our reputation, everybody that hires us knows us. We more than deliver. We do more. And the other things, too, I didn't get to finish. Besides doing stuff for the charity stuff, I also go to all the local radio stations, news stations, TV, and we for the fair, I do their free advertising and promotion. We come in costume, and we interact with the news people, the radio people, and we don't charge extra for it. All we ask is bring us out a little early, cover our meals on our board, and we'll be there. And we get up early in the morning, and we make all these appearances for them, and they love it. And it's a great marketing advertising. Like I said, I'm a great marketing person, so I really know how to market.
You know, of course, that the Arizona State Fair is in Phoenix, which is in the middle almost of the desert. So yeah. Well, actually, no, it's down the middle of a booming city now. It's no longer even desert. I know. I've been there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the perfect time. Yes. It's October. It ends on Halloween. That's why Alice Cooper used to always do a show on Halloween night.
It's still warm there in October.
Oh, it's not. Oh, come on. You've been in Colorado too long.
It's in the middle of all that traffic. That's where that fairgrounds is. It's like a lot of traffic right there.
I love it. Come on. People are not going to understand when I say this, but when we were kids, we had the Wallace and Ladmo show, and Wallace and Ladmo would always be at the fair there. I remember as a kid going out to see them. And, my Oma, my mom's mom, my grandmother, she was sitting on a park bench one day, and this is a brand new company that just came to Phoenix, food company, and they had a booth at the fair promoting their chicken. And this guy in a white suit and black tie, white little goatee and white hair walked over and says, I see you're eating my chicken. She goes, oh, it's your chicken? Is that your booth? He goes, well, I own the company, and I'm here to make appearances and introduce my chicken. And it was Colonel Sanders. He came and sat down, and the Colonel sat down by my grandmother and talked to her and flirted with her a little bit. They got pictures, and that was when Kentucky Fried Chicken first came to Arizona. It made its appearance at the Arizona State Fair.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, look, we've been talking for 40 minutes, and I'd like people to be able to listen to this. And
come on. We got to give them a good hour.
Hey, how do they reach you if they're interested in booking? And I'll go post you on a whole bunch of different places. So how do people reach you?
Well, I'm very old school, and I'm going to tell you the easiest way to get a hold of me is call me. And I'm going to put my phone number out there because it's open to anybody. 626-437-4785. That's 626 area code 437-4785. That's my direct line. Goes right to my phone like you just called we're interviewing on. Then if you want to go to the website and go through that, it's Double Dog Dare, and then the word productions with an S on it, productions.com, or Pirates for F-O-R, not the number 4, Pirates, Pirates, F-O-R, and then the word hire, H-I-R-E, piratesforhire.com.
Okay. Okay. So
it.
let's do that, and we'll get this posted, and I'll post it in a bunch of places, and I have some contacts at the Arizona State Fair. I'll see what I can do.
Well, I would appreciate that. And, and anybody that can help us with anything, I do give finder's fees and referral fees because we love people, and I want them to keep showing the love. And anything we can help right now, especially with the economy the way it is, I'm out to help anyone. We all need to make money and have fun and smile.
We all need to smile. I'll agree with that.
Okay.
Thank you, Ted.
You got it. Thank you so much. You have a great day. And all your listeners, I love you all. Thank you for listening. Keep listening to her show. She's entertaining and a lot of fun. Cute lady, too.
Okay. Bye-bye, Ted.
Bye-bye.